right, guys, I'm Nicolette, and today Brian and I are here with Missy Hall. She's Vice President of New Market Development for Digi-Key Electronics, and she's going to talk to us today about some new markets, some current supply chain stuff. We're going to learn a little bit about online marketplaces. So, Missy, thank you so much for joining us today. We do appreciate your time.
Oh, thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to the conversation.
Why don't you kick us off and tell us a little about your role and your long history over at Digi-Key?
Sure. I've been at Digi-Key for 17 years, and throughout my history at Digi-Key, I've had a variety of different roles, currently serving as Vice President of New Market Development. In my previous roles, I really focused in our operational space, leading our global sales and operations teams. But through the years, definitely have had the opportunity to learn a lot about Digi-Key in our industry and have a lot of great contact with suppliers and customers. So,
can you tell us a little bit about what new market development means, right, in your title?
For sure. I get that question a lot because it can mean a lot of different things to different people, depending on how you may look at that. But when you think about Digi-Key, obviously we have a very strong and established core business that we're well known for. But really a piece of what we do is that innovative space. And we're always trying to look at what's next. What do we need for better support of our customers and suppliers? And that's where really my team falls in the new market development, is looking at some of those new and different spaces. And we'll talk about some of them today, but marketplace is a big one that's new for us. It's a different way of going to market and engaging with customers and suppliers. We've got Fulfilled by Digi-Key. That's another program that falls with us. We're also doing some things related to additional configurators and tools that we want to be able to offer to design engineers and customers on our website. Some of those are, one example would be the PCB builder. So internally, we like to call it the Digi-Key Plus. It's all these pluses and extras and additional things that we're looking to bring to the market.
So since you're so enmeshed in, these new markets, maybe we can talk a little bit about some of the current B2B challenges in the market and kind of like with the current climate, supply chain issues and all these things that are going on, are there a lot of challenges you're seeing out there right now?
Definitely. That's kind of a loaded question.
Sorry, I know.
It's all good. I think first and foremost, obviously there's the challenge of supply chain and product availability. And we all know that, manufacturers are having challenges keeping up with demand due to a variety of issues. We see lead times continuing to be pushed out and extended. So those are real challenges. And from the customer perspective, customers are faced with that challenge of not being able to get the product that they need. So they're trying to look at, are there alternate sources? Are there different ways I can find this product? Can I look to a different manufacturer, potentially change out my design? So I think that's a given with the market conditions where we're at right now are just the lead time challenges. So that would be the first challenge I would speak to in the B2B market. I would say beyond that and product availability, it's definitely this concept of digital transformation. You hear that buzzword all over the place. And what does it really mean? I think it means different things to different people. But, that idea of customers wanting to be able to engage in a digital way and have things be easy, self-service, fast. And how do manufacturers or distributors like Digi-Key, how do we support customers in that digital transformation and how they want to do business with us, whether it's e-commerce or we see in the B2B space, more and more customers want to engage via API. They want that direct connection in with their own system for real-time pricing, availability, ordering. So definitely a challenge of how do you meet customers where they're at, because they're in different places in this whole journey. And then how do you keep up with supporting these customers and their needs? A challenge for sure.
So do you see like a lot of those things you mentioned, like, lead times, let's say, for instance, being incorporated in some of the tools you mentioned in those new markets, like as those tools are being built or as engineers are looking for those materials, that you're building in things like lead time and other stuff that give them notification?
For sure. The feedback definitely from customers as we've worked through this is they need to know, and they need to know real time. When we talk about lead time, what are the changes and how are they notified of that? So that's definitely an ask from customers. And how do you build those into your tools and really make it self-serve for the customer? And beyond that, there's also the element of how do you just give the customer more options? Maybe they're not satisfied with that lead time of that product. So how do you give them other alternatives from different manufacturers, but then also make them aware of that and give them the data and the information they're going to need related to that product to be able to make an informed decision. Will that product work in their application or not?
So with all of these challenges that you're talking about, what kinds of solutions are available out there? I know distribution is probably one of those solutions. You're biased, but I think so.
For sure. Distribution is definitely a solution for manufacturers and supplier partners. When you think about distribution and really what we're trying to achieve, and I look at what we're doing in Digikey to continue to invest in our online tools and our e-commerce presence and making things easier for customers, and the things we just talked about related to lead time and offering more products and that product information for our customers. We have a strong foundation, and we continue to make mass investments in that. And that's really where I think someone trying to navigate in this B2B space today can really benefit from partnering with a distributor like Digi-Key, because we're dealing with that today, and we're figuring that out. And we talk challenges, there's a couple other things I'd like to mention. I know a few weeks ago, you guys had a podcast with Terry Evanishin from Digi-Key. She was talking about the compliance related challenges, and it was a great discussion. And that is so true. When we talk about, especially small to mid-tier manufacturers that want to get into global business and expand globally, there are so many compliance related challenges, everything from understanding, tariffs to duty to the different regulations, and not only understanding them, but then how do you make sure you're compliant with them?
Right.
Just another good example of the complexities of a global business, but how partnering with Digi-Key can really help you, navigate through that.
Now, are you finding with these various new markets, you're finding a different set of challenges with each one, or is it like some of the same consistent challenges across the board?
I think it's some of both. Some of the challenges as we look in some of these new markets or partnering with different manufacturers, some of the challenges are still the same. We still see the same things. And when you talk about global expansion and you're talking about compliance, a lot of that holds true, and you're going to see some of that. There are potentially differences as we want to expand in some specific countries or regions, potentially with certain products that can definitely introduce new challenges that we have to work and navigate through internally. And a lot of times, leveraging external experts and other partners, depending on where we're talking about throughout the world. So yeah, to answer your question, I think it's some of both, existing and new challenges as well.
So I have a question. What are some of all right, hold on. I wrote this down because I wanted to ask you this question. 1 second. So what are some of the characteristics that really define an efficient, competitive components supplier? Some of those common core traits that these companies are sharing.
I love that question. And, from my perspective, first and foremost, I think those that are successful are customer centric. That's got to be the most important thing. You have to keep the customer front and center, and don't lose sight that that's what we're here for, right? And if you keep that customer front and center, you understand their needs, you listen to their wants, I feel that those people that can do that well really are successful. And along with that, there's also an element of innovation. When you're listening to your customers, you're hearing what they need, what they want. they have a lot of great ideas and great feedback. So those that are truly successful are able to not only listen, but then take that feedback and be innovative, whether you're talking about manufacturing new types of products or you're a distributor talking about how do you enhance your business or make things easier for the customer, you're able to do that. So to me, it's customer centric, keep them top of mind. How do you be innovative based on that feedback? And then I think it's also, for us or for me personally, it's recognizing that everything we do is a partnership. You have customers that you're a partner with, and you also have your manufacturers that you partner with. And how do you work with both to, at the end of the day, provide the best options so it's a win-win for both, right? We want our customers to be successful in what they're doing, but we also want to make sure that our suppliers, partners are successful in growing their business as well. And if you can figure that out, and how do you do that, and how do you maintain that partnership, those that can figure that out really do see the most success.
Do you find, I mean, I know you mentioned, I'm just going to back up to APIs for a little bit. I know you mentioned APIs as being one of the things. Do you find like a lot of it, customers are nervous at first with these new markets or these new things, and then you got to sort of work with them to get in. Once they see how easy this is and how beneficial this is, they get into it and like, wow, why didn't I do this right away? Or, you know what I mean? Why didn't I do this earlier?
For sure. I think whether you're talking about customers or you're talking about suppliers, they're all at different places in this journey. And there are a lot who don't necessarily understand, well, to leverage an API, what does that mean for me? Or what's the value that provides to me or my business? So sometimes there is that hesitancy to try to move forward with something like that because they don't understand. And the other piece of that is there's typically some IT investment or resources development work that is going to need to be done on their end in order to make that connection. And sometimes, again, it's understanding or maybe lack of budget for that sort of thing. But what we tend to see, whether we talk about customers that integrate or in my team, we have a lot of suppliers integrating. Once they do that, they're just amazed by the results and the gains and the sheer efficiency that brings to their business, because you have these real-time connections and passing of information, and you take a lot of that manual human processing out of it. And, it's hard to argue with some of those wins once you get to the point and you're able to see that. But for some, that's a tough journey. And even in the beginning, really tough for them to understand how does that benefit them.
Okay, so let's talk about marketplaces, online marketplaces. All right. I know this is something that's popular and happening over at Digi-Key. So is this something that you would say that the industry wasn't getting quite right for a while? Or kind of like, how does the Digikey Marketplace tie up some of those loose ends that the engineers are experiencing?
Great question. I would say a lot of marketplaces don't necessarily get it right. And when you hear that word marketplace out in the industry or in the world, for some that they kind of have a negative connotation with that, because it can mean different things to different people based on their experiences. And, I want to talk a little bit about at Digi-Key, what we're doing different and really what I feel that we're doing right to make this a true value add for our customers and our suppliers. First and foremost, like I said earlier, it's about the customer, and it's keeping the customer front of mind. Our number one goal with the marketplace is to be able to bring more products from more manufacturers and have them available for our customers. We want to continue to broaden that product portfolio and really be that one-stop shop for our customers so they can find everything they need with us on our website through that one shopping experience. So it's keeping that customer front of mind. But then how do you do that when you were talking about bringing in, new manufacturers and new products? And this is where I think a lot of marketplaces don't always get it right. For some, it's this, I want to sell on a marketplace. I go ahead, I sign up, I'm listing my products, I'm selling. At Digi-Key, I want to be clear, that is not the case.
Okay.
For any manufacturer that wants to sell with us, there is an application vetting and approval process. So they first and foremost have to apply. Anyone that wants to sell with Digi-Key, they apply. And then what we do is we review and we vet those applications and we take a look at that supplier to ensure, I mean, are they the true manufacturer? Are they authorized? Is the product a quality product that we're willing to put our name behind and stand with in that partnership? So we go through that vetting process. And once we complete the vetting, then we would go ahead and give that supplier the approval. We would move forward with that detailed, we call it, onboarding process of getting products and getting that product information so we can eventually get to the point of that seller being able to have product available for sale on our website. But I think that's one of the main differences, and I just really want to call that out, is that vetting piece, that we spend a lot of time and due diligence to make sure that we're getting the right partners and the right products on our site. And I'll be honest, we have a lot of suppliers that apply and are denied. Probably maybe more than I'd want to share, but there are a fair amount that they don't make it because they don't meet our specific quality standards. Right. So that's kind of the front end of how do we get, product. Once the product is on our website, a manufacturer is selling, we have very strict SLAs in place with those partners, because Digi-Key is known for, great service to our customers, same day shipment, all the things that Digi-Key has been known for. We want to make sure that our partners that are shipping directly to customers are also meeting our same service level agreements. And it may not be same day shipment. The supplier indicates how quick they're going to ship to customers, and we're very transparent so the customer understands that in their purchasing journey. But we're going to hold the supplier accountable to that and ensure that they're shipping on time. Mm-hmm. So that's another element is just those very rigid SLAs and expectations we have with suppliers, and then holding them accountable to those service levels.
Do you think, it's interesting because, we talk about sort of online purchasing or online marketplaces. And I think we all, as consumers, right, not even in the B2B space, as consumers, we have this vision of what it should be. Do you think a lot of that has translated into the B2B space?
For sure. I think, in our real lives, we're all consumers, right? And we've all interacted with different marketplaces. We have different experiences. There's things that we like or we don't like, but naturally we bring those experiences from our B2C life into our B2B world. And, whether I'm a purchaser or I'm an engineer and I'm interacting with the website, I do bring those experiences with me. And along with that, a certain set of expectations, because mm-hmm. I've become used to some of these things in my B2C experience, and some of the things I want when I'm running my B2B business or, working with that. And there may be some things also that I don't want or I don't like, but I don't think you can separate the two, because we have the same people interacting in both spaces, mm-hmm. and they're going to bring those experiences back and forth.
So then what would you see as the next step, like the evolution of the online marketplace? And maybe not even particularly for Digi-Key, but maybe one day we adopt these things in the B2B world. But what's that next step?
Yeah, in our B2C world.
Yeah, that's true.
I think it continues to evolve. And I think some of the key things really, when you talk marketplaces, it's continued transparency to customers. As marketplaces continue to grow, there's more of them. You have more manufacturers, and we get more connected globally. You have manufacturers shipping from all over the world to customers all over in the world. It's really about transparency in that transaction. And when you're looking for that product and understanding, who is this coming from? Where is it coming from? What do I need to know? And I think that there's definitely opportunity for improvement there. So I think we'll see more of that as things continue to evolve. I also think that, there's more to come as it relates to just efficiency and scalability from that marketplace perspective. There's a lot of great things that have been introduced and adopted in the B2C space. When you think about order status and just different notifications related to, open orders, late orders, where things are at. And I think as we continue to move forward in the B2B world, we need to adopt a lot of those things because customers expect it. And I think you'll continue to see that shift and that evolution in that B2B space, specifically as it relates to marketplace and introduction of more of those features that people want and they need.
Brian, do you have any other questions for?
No, I think we covered a lot of really good stuff today.
Missy, is there anything that we didn't ask you about that you think we're missing the mark somewhere? Is there anything important that's going on that we're not talking about?
I think we've covered a lot of great things, and I think for me the key, the takeaway, the message is that the B2B business world is complex and it's moving quick, right? And whether we're talking about availability of product, global expansion, or we're talking about this digital transformation, there's a lot there, and it's not an easy task. As you're trying to grow your business in the world we live in today, it's tough. And it's how do you find what you need to do in order to be successful, or who you need to partner with, and then really start having those conversations on how do you move your business forward.
Thanks, Missy. Can you let everybody know where they can access the Digikey Marketplace, this new online marketplace you've got going on?
Yeah, all of our marketplace product is integrated on digikey.com. So any product you're searching for, you will be able to find. And we do have an indicator on all marketplace products. So it's clear to the customer who's the supplier partner, where is it shipping from, and how long is the shipment. So you can find the product there. If you're interested in learning more just about marketplace in general, or potentially being a partner with Digi-Key and selling with us on our marketplace, you can visit digikey.com on our homepage, and if you look down at the bottom, you'll find a sell on Digi-Key link, and you can take a look at that. And there's a lot more information in there. So
thank you so much for joining us today, Missy.
thanks for having me. I appreciate it.